Yeah, nothing there. Okay. Let's see the patch notes then. Welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online 11, Season of the Worm Cult Part 1. Picking up where the game-based story left. Fellowship invades Western Solstice to uncover the dark truth behind the Worm Cult latest schemes, alongside allies from the past adventures. It's only the beginning, as the seasons of the Worm can unfold throughout the year and new areas of Solstice will become accessible. For base game, we have newly announced subclassing system. Can't wait to see the custom builds you will come up with. These changes complement the addition of some class wheels. Many quality of life features coming to base game as well. From here, returned PC UI updates. Oh no. Stackable master rates, preparing for console add-ons and more. All PC and A characters have been copied this week. Otherwise, there are 3 templates for you to utilize. Additionally, all PTS accounts have access to Seasons of the Worm Cult Part 1 and its features. Regardless of having pre-purchased content passed through, we hope you have. Look forward to reading through your feedback on the new system and features. This update, which is approximately 4 gigabytes inside, thanks and enjoy. The new UI and PTS is kind of the same as you are using now. Oh, for real? Oh, wait, did they move the bars together on PTS? I think that's the only thing I can recall from yesterday watching the guys running the trial. Okay, let's see. New Zone Solstice. Prepare to embark on a journey to mysterious island of Solstice, a long forgotten land watched over by the elves of the house Corellania. In the tide water and stone-nest tribes of Argonians who call it home. Nested off the southern coast of Black Marsh, Solstice is heaven for those seeking refuge from a treacherous past, where a group of diverse races has come together to forge a new life. The island is a tapestry of cultures in history, marked by Argonian ruins, towering Almer spires, red-built beach houses, and shimmering caves. To begin your adventures in Solstice, you can choose among the following: create a new character, or select a pre-existing to seek Scored the Knife, the Shan, use navigators. Choose one of the character templates. After you arrive in Solstice, we'll greet you, give you an update. In addition to Story Zone, includes the following activities: 5 full-length objectives that explore the histories and people of Solstice, 3 delves, public dungeon, 3 world bosses, Sand Cage, Trial, Crafting Set, additional quests, new trial, chapter content, basically. Money Marco had many vaults, hidden artifacts and objects of power. Cage is one vault located deep within Cold Harbor. Within it's where the power object of Dolores Kista is kept. With the Worm Cult's resurgence, the Fighters Guild now finds it imperative to destroy it. They seek attack on a St. Cage by the Fighters Guild was met with disaster, and now they need your help. Cage 12 people trial includes normal and additional challenging veteran, unique item sets including perfected, achievements, unique skin, unique mount, several titles, unique housing items. Hard modes for each of the boss encounters can be activated in any order to facilitate testing. This is strictly for testing purposes on PTS and will not be the case when Solstice goes live. It will follow the normal paradigm of needing to complete each hard mode in order. For 113 achievements available in this update with 7 new titles and 2 new dues. Secondera, Strict Fellowship, Carnage Incarnate, Agonizer, Breaker, Misery Master, Indomitable, Shell-Tide Green, Tulbos Indigo, Item Sense Overland, Magica Recovery for every 100 Magica you have. So wait, if you're at... So it's like, if you're at 50,000 Magica... It's 500 magica recovery. It's useless. It's still useless. Just get the set with the recovery and that's it. Death Dancer, stamina, critical chance, recovery, critical chance. Well, this is another useless set, like the first one. Nobody's gonna use it. Stamina, critical, recovery, critical chance. While you have 50% or more stamina, reduce the cost of the core combat abilities while you have 50 or less stamina. Well, it's an overland set. Why am I asking for something? Health stamina. Stamina while you have buff food active, your block mitigation is increased. Okay, another user set crafted. The Tideborn. Weapon spell damage, critical chance, penetration, direct damage done to monsters. This one is not bad. This one might actually be good. Something you could use in combination with Order's Wrath, for example, that gives you a lot of damage. Trial. Harmony in Chaos. Weapon spell damage, Slayer. Weapon spell damage, perfected spell damage. While in combat, activating a synergy grants you a stack of Harmonized for 10 seconds, up to 5 stacks. You can gain 1 stack every 0.5 seconds. Increase your weapon and spell damage per stack of Harmonized. So you just need to spam synergy every once in a while for this one to stay up. I guess it's not bad, but... No, Snake. It's in the next update. It's not now. Like on the live server, this stuff is not on the live server, just in case. It's on PTS right now. This is gonna be on the live server in 4 months. Well, May, June. Well, somewhere in June. Somewhere in June it's gonna be on the live servers. So don't worry about it. Recovery convergence. Healing done minor ages. Magic healing done. While in combat, over healing done is converted into stored energy on you for 20 seconds. After over healing 100k health, your energy maxes out, granting your convergence release synergy when you activate it. To restore stamina and magic to yourself and the group members within 20 meters of you. After activation convergence release, you can start over healing for 30 seconds. But how much stamina, how much magic, and who needs it in the first place? Well, from what I've seen, sustain is kind of busted in the next patch. From what I've seen on like the trial, from what I've seen when they were doing the trial, sustain is kind of busted. So probably this set might actually make sense. Caspian, Cruel Sina, weapon damage, offensive penetration, weapon spell damage, dealing area. Direct damage. Place a sword above an enemy. You can place a sword on an enemy who already has one. After 6 seconds, the sword falls, dealing physical damage. Damage cannot critically strike, and skills of the higher weapon spell damage. This effect deals an additional 33% damage for each additional sword you have on other enemies. Yeah, I was watching the trial. I didn't watch the patch notes because I wanted to read them myself. But I was watching the trial. Well, I was working at the same time, so like I was also watching, like, you know, with side eye. I saw them wiping on a boss with the portal or something because they couldn't figure out the mechanics. I'm not sure about this one. Might be good, might be bad. No idea. It seems like an AoE set for AoE clearing. Because like every... the more swords you have, the more damage you deal. So it's for like AoE spammers. Dolores Arena. Health, ages, armor, stamina. Bracing create a distortion barrier around yourself. You gain armor, and enemies within the barrier have their armor reduced for 2 seconds. Both effects occur every 2 seconds and each can stack up to 3 times. This one seems to be fine. DK sustain fucked up. Well, I wasn't playing DK now, so I don't know how the sustain is right now. But we'll see. Mythic. Oh, new Mythic. Shoulder. Rakat's Void Mantle. Isn't the Rakat as the final boss of Loa Lorkach? Reduce the damage of your light attack by 50%. Dealing damage with a light attack restores magic or stamina depending on your equipped weapon time. Gain additional resources when damaging a balanced enemy and less resources when damaging blocking enemy. Increase the damage of your heavy attack. Heavy attacks no longer restore resources. So this is the mythic for heavy attacks. For heavy attack builds. And they didn't have sustain issues, but since you're anyway gonna be weaving the light attacks between spells, you're gonna restore the resources. So they just buffed the heavy attack builds again. Well, Skull Elf is not gonna be happy. Mad God Dancing Shoes. While in combat, roll dodging creates a random effect. Can occur every 2 seconds. Effect create cheese wheel under the enemy within 15 meters that deals magic damage. Heavy attackers won't use because it's hard to be without full resources again. Oh yeah, true. Well, those who know, like heavy attacks already do insane amount of damage if you think about it, with overpower, and they just got busted by another 50% on top of that. That's insane. Like, what, heavy attack is gonna hit for like what, 70k? Somewhere there. Create cheese wheel under the enemy, deal physical damage to enemy facing you, deal magic damage, major expedition, restore stamina, reduce the cost of next non-ultimate, gain ultimate. That's a really strange mythic, I'm not gonna lie. Monomyth Reforged. While in combat and on your primary weapon, gain major force, minor berserk, and minor vulnerability. While in combat and on second weapon, major protection, minor vitality, and minor timidity. I gotta read what those give. Minor... Vulnerability. Named debuffs. Damage taken by 5% minor and 10% major. So the ring, whenever you're on the front bar, gives you 5% increased damage received, 5% damage increase, the one that you're dealing, major force. Is it like 30% critical rate? Force, major force, major force, combat. Name the buffs. Empower, sorcery, force increase critical damage done by 20 major. Okay, yeah. Major is 20%. So, on the front bar, you gain 20% crit, 5%, well, crit damage. 5% damage done, and 5% damage received increased. And this is a ring. Taking into account major force, well, in an optimized group, you probably don't need this ring. But for, like, dungeoning, probably, this is insane. And I can see definitely glass cannon builds that's gonna use this in PvP. Okay, while in the combat on secondary weapon, major protection, minor vitality, timidity. What the hell is timidity? Debuffs. Timidity consumes one ultimate every 1.5 seconds. Interesting. So you on the back bar you're losing ultimate. Eurobar. Annoying as fuck. Yeah. Well, I can see people use this one. Don't know where, but I definitely can see people using this one. Especially because of the front bar thing. Yeah, you just make one, like, you can make a 1-bar build for PvE, which is gonna be really strong, and on the back bar you're only gonna have the buffs that are giving you, like, you have improved something while you have this slotted, like major prophecy and other stuff, sorcery as well, so like critical weapon damage, all that bullshit on the back bar that works on the both bars. And then on the front bar they're gonna have like 20% extra crit and 5% damage. That's insane. Still be good for Nightblade because incap cheap and you can take 20 ultimate from both. Yeah, true, that as well. But I definitely can see people using this one, that's for sure. Collectibles, Dormant Solstice, Tiara, markings, mementos, mounts. The Heart's Grief 12 is acquired by completing the Worth Paying achievement. I guess that's the trifecta for the trial. Retribution of Time skin acquired by completing the Cage Conqueror. Or maybe not, wait a second. No, there's one and there's another one. Probably this one is gonna be for the trial, and this one is gonna be for something else. Base game furnishing walled, highly requested quality of life feature for dedicated housing players. Collectible allows SO Plus subscribers. Oh, so it's included in SO Plus? That furniture locker, so to say. Allows SO Plus subscribers to store up to 500 unique furnishing items, each of which can be stocked, for example. So you don't need to buy it separately. I thought it's gonna be like 10,000 crowns or something. Well, W for SO Plus. Another reason to buy it. Furnishings stored within the vault are accessible from all owned homes throughout Tamriel, whether placed in a home or accessed directly via the housing editor. Once unlocked from the SO Plus tab in the Crown Store, the vault becomes available as both placeable collectible in home and an integrated option within the housing interior. They buffed Nightblade. Let me get there, Alots. Let me get there. I didn't see nerfed sword. Well, should I start playing PvP on a Nightblade already now? In this case, should I learn PvP on a Nightblade already now? I had the build back in the day, but I think I stopped using it eventually. Do I still have the gear? Let me see. Armory.
As you advise.
What I had there for PvP. Yeah, I'm missing all the stuff that I was using. Can it be stored? Gemmable furnishing, stolen furnishings, Grandmaster crafting station, Heroes Return. ESO is a very large game where you can do a lot of things. However, with all those new things to choose from, it can be difficult to know where to start when you come back. Introducing Heroes Return. New experience for players who have not visited Tamriel in some time. However, for PTS, we temporarily opened this up for everyone, regardless of how long it's been since you last played. The feature has 3 key parts. When you return to Tamriel, you'll be invited to join Vanna's Galarian killing a new threat. While fighting through this short instance and dealing with dangers within, you will also be reminded of some key components of the ESO combat. Completing this adventure grants you a selection of consumables and other items to help with you back on feet quickly. Welcome back screen and rewards. When you return to Tamriel, you'll be greeted with a new screen. Temporarily replaces the announcement. And a special set of login rewards. Among other rewards, these include the new Heroes Return Experience Scroll that also removes Wayshrine cost for a short time, and a Wayshrine Navigation Chart that can be used to reveal any unexplored Wayshrine in the zone where you choose it. Damn. Heroes Return Golden Pursuit. The Tamriel is full of ways to play and remind you Of those options, we have introduced the Heroes Return Golden Pursuit. While adventuring through the Golden Pursuit, you will have the chance to be refreshed on important locations, services, activities within Tamriel, all while earning a variety of helpful rewards. That's nice. Yeah, did you buy crowns? Yeah, I did, unfortunately, I did.
You don't get to master fear's age by
Team continues to work on the quality of life improvements for the in-game map. Update 46 brings another small but targeted batch of enchantments for the in-game map aimed at taking the exploration more intuitive. Clearer tooltips. An improved mouse over behavior. Too bad, epics. Too bad, man. What quest icons belong to what? Improved quest visibility. Updated the quest area. Made the show and map feature in the journal more noticeable. Unknown master reads. Unknown crafting, red word crafting, the name of the crafting skill is unknown will stack. Housing UI retrieved to functionality. UI modernization update. The keyboard UI has received an overall to look and feel of all the main elements in the menus. The goal is to improve and update the modern experience. Not the general functionality has not been changed. Console add-ons. Okay, additional notes. June shortly after console launch, players will be able to download add-ons. As Steam cannot assist you with add-on related issues. The patch is going to be a lot of fun for Cyril. Yeah, definitely. Oh, subclassing. There we go. So this stuff is add-ons for consoles. We skip that. Welcome to subclassing. Small quest to unlock. When selecting skill lines, you can get up to 2 other skill lines from other classes. You cannot get 2 skill lines from one another class. Yeah, I know how it works. Like Dragon Knight with 2 Templar, but can be Templar with Dragon Knight with 2 and 1 Templar, for example. To have 2 Templar skill lines and a Dragon Knight, you'll have to be a Templar. Subclass skill lines have progression account-wide. Subclassing will work with Armory. New Champion Star, Disciple Artisan on the green. Increase the amount of experience gained for active skill lines. Oh, finally. Yo, Statarius. Did you get what I wanted? Of course not, man. I didn't get anything. Like, I bought this one. But I got it for the gems. Because, like, I had 1200. So I got it for the gems rather than, like, randomly. I just got it for the gems. So it doesn't really count. Additional callouts for subclass skill lines are levered slower. Passives need 2 skill points. Abilities are now locked on character level and skill line. What does it mean? Drunk emote. Only fact 100 gems. Yeah, but that's Radiant Apex Mount. I had to get at least one of them, you know? Yeah, and I got all of them yesterday from 100 crates. I got all of them yesterday from 100 crates. 105. New homes. New furnishings. There are templates for you to choose from PTS. For the max and mid-level templates, you start at Solstice, subclassing quests. Art and animation, known issues. Okay, let's see. A few audio and visual effects may be missing or missed. Some abilities contain errors. Casting crystal shard and fragmentation while unarmed results in issues. Certain instances, hit reactions may not appear. Oh, it's known issues. Okay, treasure maps. Here's returns, subclassing. Okay, combat and gameplay. Greetings. This year marks ESO 11th anniversary, and this update marks that special occasion with the very exciting feature subclassing, which allows you to any of your pre-existing future characters to potentially earn and advance skill lines that would normally be exclusive to a specific class. As such, you can expect this patch to be chock full of adjustments to functionality, numbers, and so on. As exciting as it is, it's also a little scary as it introduces a brand new world by allowing our characters to do things that weren't necessarily always intended or thought or when they were first made. This update is focused on releasing the full vision for your character and allowing the more player skill customization to truly play your way. Much like traditional Elder Scrolls experience, you'll be able to make your own custom class effectively by mixing and matching the skill lines and create unique experience. Oh, so YouTube video and first grade poll on Twitch. Yeah. I think there will be variety in PvP and it's cool. I'm buying the chapter. You don't need the chapter for the class subclassing, Robar. You don't need the chapter for subclassing. Stop. Don't do that. As such, we're shifting much of focus on the balance and to look at the skill lines as modular toolkit that offers a handful of strengths and gameplay advantages. Many abilities were originally designed to be outliers to enable a class to stand toe-to-toe with other characters in specific aspect. Yeah, that's what... Oh, it's that's okay, yeah, true. That's what's concerning, that like originally the classes were designed to be like, this class has its upper points and the lower points, so there's like good and bad. But with subclassing, you can just neglect all your weak sides and cover them with only like the strengths. Are getting adjusted now that things aren't always as simple as say. Comparing Dragon Knight versus Necromancer, this patch focuses on trying to build into line many of those abilities. Well, we'll be looking at your feedback not only to guide adjustments during this update, but future update cycles as well. We're very much looking forward to seeing how you plan your augmenting characters and playstyles the new annex can achieve. Well, what I can say again, gotta go. See you, Anthony. Let's hope your plan will, your idea will actually result into something positive. In PvP we won't have a clue what we're fighting. True. General. Updated the rules and behaviors for reaching the combat pet limit. Previously reaching 10 summons or corpses or some summons would outright prevent the summoning of further pets regardless of their source type. This was most likely experienced in cases on a necromancer where you had a high amount of corpse generating abilities such as Banner Bearer, Grave Grasp, Sacrificial Bones, where once you had enough summons and corpses active, your abilities would simply stop functioning. I saw this Horizon report mostly where Blight Blast Bones would fail to activate. With subclassing in mind, I had to go back to this experience and flesh it out since it has more likely to reach cap. So we'll introduce a new hard cap in PvP environments where this experience could create highly problematic gameplay experience on lower spec hardware. While in PvE zone the limitation of 10 pets will remain as is, while in PvP zone the limitation will now be 5. So you can't run 8 pets, 8 pet build on PvP. Too bad. The exception to this rule as follows. Permanent and ultimate source summons cannot be replaced by other summons. If you attempt to summon, then the gap when only permanent or unique summons are present, the attempted summon will be failed. Non-permanent or unique summons such as Perinech or corpses directly summoned from necromantic abilities, Flame Skull Bone Armor, can be replaced, but never attempt to replace an active summon such as Skeleton Mage or Summon Shade. Non-combat pets do not influence the cap. Companions count towards the limit, but cannot be replaced. The combat, the likelihood of experiencing the cap, we made some adjustment to the lifespan of the most contentious contenders. Sacrificial Bone and corpses now persist for 5, down to 6. Signature Script Class Mastery when paired with Necromancer will now create a corpse that lasts for 5 seconds, down from 10. Costly Embrace and Morph created corpse on the third area now persists for 5 seconds. I was very pleasantly surprised when 15 players played their own way and it looked cool. Nightblade Sork, Sork Necro, Decay Ward and Decay Templar. If it stays like this, it's cool. We'll see. We'll see. The following ability now actively suppress sneaking and invisibility from their caster while active. Scorch, Mongolia, Frozen Gate. Well, I think any ability should kick you out of invisibility in the first place. The following abilities now actively remove sneaking. When they tick Magma, Radial Sweep, Sleet, Eye of Storm, Panacea, God Try, Spirit Mender. Remove sneaking and invisibility from their caster when successfully hit. Lightning Form, Solar Barrage, Electric Blast, Blade Cloak, Tomb Bearer, Inferno. Okay, skill lines, core combat abilities, Crouch, when successfully transition detected to Hidden. The same if the effect state Sneak is now visible on your effect bar. Additionally, Sneak can be hovered over the character's sheet to read what the effect does. Then I held up this one of the few times. Improved visibility is a detriment to your sneaking about. Okay, and this is the classes already, yeah? There we go. Dragon Knight. Ardent Flame. Combustion. This passive now increases the damage from burning and poisoned by 1633 and restores Magicka stamina when they're applied down from 1000. Oh. Wow. Yeah, sustain. Where did the decay sustain go? What happened to it? Like 60% nerf on sustain from the abilities. Damn. This passive now causes direct damage from under flame abilities to increase the damage enemy takes from your damage over time 3-6% and reduce movement speed by 15-30 instead of only reducing movement speed. That's nice. Dragon Leap. Ability in its Morse will now grant a very minor grace period of its crowd control immunity after reaching the target. This is to correct some very rare cases when some crowd control, such as Rune of Eldritch Horror, cause the ultimate to lock you in place right as you land it, causing the damage and knockback to become the sink till the stun ended. These abilities always have granted immunity while leaping, but previously it was removed immediately upon reaching your target, which now it will persist for 100 milliseconds afterwards. Okay, Burning Hit. Passive now increases healing received by 4-9 down from 12. Okay, another nerf. Another nerf here. Well, Decay seems to be nerfed so far. From what I'm reading, sustain is killed. This thing, like, is DK doing surprisingly good right now, or what? Like, I wouldn't say DKs are performing like extremely well. To be fair, like if you ask me. Just wait till you get to Warden. Teklo, I never played Warden. I have DK. I played like maybe 5 hours that DK and that's it. I mainly play Nightblade, Sorcerer, and well, even Necro I'm not even playing that much in Templar. I have them, but like mainly Sorcerer and a Nightblade, so I don't even know. I don't even know abilities of Warden. Like, there's Beetle, there's Flying Natch, there's like that disorienting thing. So I don't even know the whole thing. But well, anyway, I think I will figure it out. Like, I plan to level, but you play again? Yeah, that's true, that's true, yeah. I plan to level the Warden as well until the end of the event, so I'll have a Warden. And then we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be like my character limit. I'm gonna be at 10, so... Yeah. Yeah. Scaled Armor. The passive now increases your physical spell resistance. 1500 3k. Buff. 2 times more, that's good. Sword Streak. Ultimate. Gallows. Health recovery increased as well by like 50%. That's good. Stone Giant. The Smorf stacks will probably be removed when using the ability. Magma Armor. Ultimate. The Magma Shell now also disable Ultimate Generation by their active. Additionally, this ultimate no longer removed when clicking their effect in the character sheet. Battle Roar. Passive now restores 1837 health, magic, and stamina per ultimate spend down from... Another nerf. Another nerf. Okay, Templar, Adric Spear. Puncturing Strikes. This ability and morphs now deal damage to the 6 closest enemies rather than having no target. Ability... Hey Vapo, good luck on the giveaway. Ability no longer deal normal damage to the closest enemy and then deal lesser damage to enemies hit. They now deal full damage to all targets up to the new cap of 6. Each enemy is snared rather than only the first. Is this a buff? I guess that's this is a buff, right? Wasn't that the one of the reasons why nobody used the puncturing swipes? In PvE, because like you only deal full damage to first target, but now since there's like, yeah, there's a limit, but still 6 targets is more more than enough, I think. I'd say that's a really good ability now. With subclassing now in place, we're placing a target cap on this ability in efforts to prevent it from becoming too dominant. To make sure the skill is still viable, we're removing the reduced damage against the other enemy's hits, so it still stands out as a unique and powerful skill that serves a purpose, focusing on immerse cleave damage. Even in PvP, or even you be small group, you can jab them all. Yeah, yeah. Like one of the morphs is getting back the health, right? Reduce the healing done by its... Oh yeah, there it is. Puncturing sweeps. Reduce the healing done by its morph. To 25% of the damage done, down from 33. Well, that's not a lot. This will result in less healing against one enemy while being almost the same against 2 and increasing greatly at 3. So like, yeah, the more enemies, the better the heal. That's nice. The heal from the morph was always capped at 6 enemies hit, so that power remains unchanged. Beating jabs. This morph now has an increased chance per hit, 10% per enemy rather than 3 to apply Sundered. It's minor vulnerability, right? I think. Rather than increasing the damage of the lesser hit, as it now deals full damage to all targets. That's not bad. Burning Light. This passive now scales off 25-50% of your weapon spell damage rather than 21-42. That's a buff. To 4% of your magic and stamina. Increase the status effect chance per hit to 10 from 3. Sundered jabs is cool, but kind of a double dip. With Sundered from Power of the Light. Ah, yeah, true. Spear Wall. This passive now grants a minor berserk and protection for 6 seconds after activating an Aedric Spear ability rather than only minor protection. That's another buff. So you use puncturing sweeps, like you use any morph. You use any morph, you get minor berserk for free. And protection as well. Free minor berserk. You can count it as like, well, in this combination, it's 5% buff in damage. Piercing Spear buff. This passive increase to critical damage and damage done to blocking players to 12% up from 10. Nice. Increase the damage done of the residual damage over time effect from this ability. Spear shards and the luminous shards morph by 23% to make up for 1 second delay this ability has. Also allows caster to be eligible for the self synergy. This is a self synergy that's really cool as well. Decrease the damage from the initial hit of its morph. Increase the damage over time by 50%. Whereas that and 10% damage increase from the entire ability if enemies remain in the area for the full duration. I'm having hard time finding a line to swap out of my Templar main. Yeah, like I from what I saw yesterday, like in trial, everybody was running Templar Necro Arcanist. I think the main one was Arcanist in order to have a class script with generating the Cruxes. So I think for Arcanist it's that way, but I don't know. For Templar it seems to be fine. Maybe the healing skill line. I think that one is the... Well, there's a lot of nice passives there. You don't even want to throw it out, to be fair. Key backlash. The final hit of this ability morphs no longer miss some enemies. Radiant destruction. Increase the time this ability can be channeled to 4.8 seconds, up from 1.8. To reduce the need to constantly activate the skill, this ability in this morph now costs Magicka per tick rather than having a front cost 2.9. To ensure it drains resources closer to the other execute abilities, while still remaining cheaper than others since it's far more restrictive. Increase the damage done per tick by 12%. Okay, good. Adjusted the execute scaling. Now start for 30%, gaining up to 500 bonus rather than starting at 50 and gaining up to 480. Ability morphs now dodgeable, finally. In efforts to help prevent it from being a complete death sentence and low health in PvP areas. Well, the best execute in PvE just got an upgrade. Yeah, you can't cast it after 50% anymore, but just like cast it at 30 and that's it. Now that subclassing is here, we're adjusting some numbers and functionality in this execute to give more defined strength and weaknesses and hope that it doesn't eclipse their execute options. It already does. The higher commitment time and cost per tick should ensure that the high has slightly more risks with channeling it. The base damage is increasing for cleaner math, while the execute scaling is now being adjusted so it doesn't outright beat other executes while retaining the power fantasy of melting very low health enemies. Lastly, we're making this execute dodgeable as an exception to improve some of the counterplay in PvP. Are other executes non-dodgeable? Like Killer's Blade or... Well, I know that Sorcerer will execute as non-dodgeable, but... What about the Killer's Blade from Nightblade, for example, or... How is called the execute from two-handed skill tree? I don't remember the name. Executioner it's called, yeah. Are those non-dodgeable? I didn't know that. Radiant Glory. This morph now reduces the base cost to 700 per tick, rather than restoring small chunk of mana. Increase the healing done to 20% of the damage done per tick. Oh, that's cool. The morph now causes execute scaling begin at 39%, rather than increasing the execute scaling bonus by 20. Well, both of them are nice. This one is like you can cast it 10% earlier. I guess it's good. For DPS purposes. This is not bad, I'd say. Healing Reach Shell. Ability morphs no longer ignore line of sight. Passive now increases all your healing done by 13% based on your target's missing health, rather than only increasing or restoring light ability healing done. Oh, all healing done. So it works for other spells. Okay, good. The passive now causes you automatically block all attacks at no cost for 2 seconds when you start any channeled or cast time ability up to once. Passive no longer grants armor. The passive will now attempt to activate if you already have a form of automatic block active such as shield wall. Interesting. Swapping the passive defensive for a highly niche and effective armor bonus while using the ultimate of the skill line to a far more useful and unique defensive bonus. This works with any channeled ability, including heavy attacks. It hopes it becomes more interesting. Yeah, that's good one. Like this automatic shield, that's pretty cool. Blocks all attacks at no cost. That's insane. But how does it work? Like, let's say I'm casting something. Let's say I'm gonna be casting something, I'm gonna get this shield. If I cast into nothing, does it mean that I wasted this shield? Or it's gonna be always active and whenever it blocks twice? No, whenever I block something and then for another second after that, and then it goes on cooldown. That's a good question. So like, can you waste this? Or it's always gonna be active unless somebody attacks you, it actually blocks something. From there it's 2 seconds, and then it goes on cooldown, something like this. That's an interesting thing to find out, to be fair. Nightblade. Oh. Master Assassin. This passive now grants you critical chance against enemies you flank rather than increasive penetration. That's a W in PvE, where you don't need that much penetration anymore because you're getting, well, you're running the perfected setup anyway. I guess that's W. That's really good one. More crit. Like easy 65% crit, somewhere there. Changing the reward for flanking enemies to something less difficult to build around, as penetration tends to be a stat that is most helpful when it's consistent. The bonus is now a percent chance effect, helping it feel more like an additional reward you want to get when you can, rather than a flat power increase that creates the sensation where you're losing power when conditions are not met. Yeah, true. Pressure point, critical chance rating. From this passive to 2.5% per assassination ability slotted up from 2. Another buff. Hey, Skull Elf. Hey. Hello. Hi there, buddy. And hey, Daishin. Hi, guys. Hello. We're slowly reading through the patch notes here. In our own pace, so to say. Green Focus. This ability and it morphs can now stack up to 10 times. Rather than 5. Don't mention it, man. Don't mention it, man. Yesterday we were opening crates. Imagine my face in the evening when I see like that there is a sale. I was like, holy fuck, no. Why me? Not only that I didn't get anything from crates, I also like bought them on the day of sale, but in the morning. But I already sent a request to Steam support. Maybe if I'm super lucky, they will be able to give me back the difference, because like crowns are non-refundable. They can't refund I can't give them back the crowns, but they can still give me back the difference because there was no announcement or anything. Bro, how unlucky you are. And the unluckiest person you will ever know, man. When it comes to this, like when it comes to situations like this related to games and everything, I'm the unluckiest person you will ever find. Hopefully, hi Sword Saints, by the way. Good luck with the giveaway. I'm the most unlucky person when it comes to this, but maybe I'll get lucky with something else, you never know. Like, you know, karma takes here, gives there, something like this. So, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, sure, man. Wow. I'm just hoping. Asator, thank you for the full hider. Welcome to the board tribe. And thank you for hydrate. Hello. Make sure to join the giveaway, man. We're giving away today 200k gold. Not 100, but 2. Because I still have 200k left from the money that Bollocks gave me yesterday for the giveaways. So let's see. Okay, Green Focus can stack up to 10 times, decrease the weapon and spell damage granted by stack by 25% on all abilities now that maximum stack has increased. Crimson Foxglove, hi there. Good luck with the giveaway. More specifically, weapon and spell damage is reduced to 45 for Grim Focus and Resolve, down from 60 per stack, and reduced to 60 for Focus, down from 80. But you still can get like 600 weapon damage for free. This ability is no longer glow permanently, finally. Finally. Only glow if you have a stack. Can be easily solved by using the ability or simply reslotting it. The days of endless perma glow are over. We're allowing for over-generating stacks for this ability, so missing activation on the final stack doesn't severely reduce the effectiveness, which adds up over the course of the fight. Now it allows you to more wiggle room, letting your chamber up to 2 shots if you reach the max stacks. Wait, did they just create a double pump shotgun for for Nightblade? What? Do they understand everybody's gonna be running this? Like every single class. This is too strong. It's like free 600 weapon damage. That's insane. Double pump shotgun. What the hell is that? What the fuck? Such for reducing the passive power of this ability slightly when using the ability similarly as before, where you fire a shot every 5-6 seconds while increasing the passive power if you wait to use it back to back. This should allow for the ability to fit more playstyles, especially for heavy attack builds that lost stack of the ability every time. So you go find someone, you use corrosive armor out of invisibility. You shoot once. You shoot once, light attack. You shoot second time, and each of those shots is gonna hit like 20 something K, if not more, because there's not gonna be any armor. Like even now they shot for like 15,000 sometimes. If you go for corrosive armor and penetrate the whole like reduction or armor mitigation, it's gonna hit for what? Like that's insane. Well, it's not gonna be a one shot, but it's a double pump shotgun for sure. Dark Vigor increases the max health from this passive to 2 and 5 per shadow ability, slotted up from 2 to 3. Nice. Also buff. So they finally decided to buff Nightblade, it seems like. Well, I'm happy about that. My main character is a Nightblade. That's really good. Catalyst increases the amount of ultimate granted 1530 up to from 20. Another buff. Magicka Float passive now increases your max Magicka and stamina by 3-6% when you have a siphoning ability slotted, rather than increasing Magicka by 4 to 8 while you have another buff for stamina Nightblade. Yeah, Nightblades are doing good now. Siphoning is really good now. Like, it's looking insane. It's really looking insane now. So Siphoning reduce the rank. One of this passive to 1% healing done per Siphoning, down from 2. Okay. Sorcerer. I guess that's where it gets interesting, right? I guess that's where it gets interesting now. With Sorcerer. If I were to guess. Let me move around a little in game so it doesn't kick me out. Daedric Summoning. Yo, Sunfire. Hey there, hello. Hello, hello. General skill line, Daedric Summoning. We're removing the separation of a pet versus no pet build in the skill line now that subclassing is here. Those who do not wish to interact with the pet gameplay can now replace the skill line as a whole. Many abilities in the skill line have been adjusted with this in mind. So like, if you're running the Daedric Summoning, you're a summoner. If you don't run it, you're not a summoner. Right? That's the way it works now. Conjured Ward and Morphs. Conjured Ward and Hunted Ward no longer heal if you do not have any pets active. Question. Is having a skeleton, for example, from a necromancer skill tree, counts as having a pet. Because if it does, the ward would still work. No longer heal if you don't have any pets. Regenerate ward now heals for 5% of max health or max magic if you have a pet active. Daedric Ray. This ability now increases the damage of your sorcerer pets by 50% instead of increasing the damage of... Instead of increasing the damage all of your pets deal to the target. Okay. With subclassing here, we had to adjust this ability to prevent it from becoming injuriously overpowered when paired with the maximum use of case of pets. We have done forward with the model that largely retains the power where it already lies, where it pops sorcerer pets but slightly limited to where it will no longer work with proc-based pets or other classes. Yeah. No pet skeleton necro. So it doesn't count as a pet. Oh, there's always... Oh, what is it, Newton? I can't see the link just in case. Can you whisper it to me on Twitch? I'm wondering what that is that you have there. Is it like the post about DB that like the team was taken away by Tencent and Hellhammer was working alone? Is it that one? If yes, I saw it, yes. I saw it. You see how easily I guessed what you had there? Yeah, I saw, man. That's fucked up. But still, he could have said that, like Hellhammer. I mean, he could have mentioned, like, yo, guys, the team was taken away. I'm working on the game myself. Don't be harsh. Instead of season 1, I'm dropping season 0.5. Not sure if season 1 is actually gonna happen. That would be better than the way he was feeding us with lies, saying like, yeah, season 1 will come out and everything. Like, like some people can say that like I shouldn't blame Hellhammer because it's Tencent who took away the team and everything. No. He is guilty in the first place for the fact that he was lying to the player base. Because season 1 was never coming. He should have said, like, he could skip the part where the team is taken away, but he shouldn't have lied about the fact that, like, yeah, guys, everything is fine. We're working on season 1. He just should have been honest with us. He could have just said, like, yeah, guys, everything's bad, but I'm trying. Instead of that, he was just lying. So, like, he decided to go that route. I have all the rights to blame him for that. Okay, rebate. The passive now restores magic or stamina when a non-ultimate Daedric summon pet's ability ends up from... Yeah, that's a small buff. Just a little bit. Daedric protection. Well, I got lots of rights to blame them. Well, but I mean, in the first place, like, some people start protecting Hellhammer, saying the fact, like, yeah, you don't understand, he was working on the game alone, the team was taken away out of nowhere, so, well. Is he, like, he wasn't... Well, it's what it says there. Well, not alone, there was few people working on the game. Like, out of the whole big team that he had beforehand, there's only, like, small piece, like, 4 or 5 people left, and they were wrapping the stuff off together. I have a feeling that the way it was, Woody, they've been working on season 1. They've been working on season 1. Then the team got taken away. But they already had some stuff prepared. They cut off the parts that were not finished, and they released it as season 0.5. But as you understand, like, half of the product is not the full product, and therefore it wasn't working properly. Tencent. They just took the team and sent them to another project. So yeah, people say like, yeah, the Tencent took his team and everything. But I'm saying in response like, yeah, he could have said that. He didn't have an NDA or anything about it. He could have said like, yeah, guys, I'm working on the game basically alone now. Can't do much, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. It would be the same scenario as with the guy from... it would be the same scenario as with the guy from Midnight Walkers. The guy who makes the zombie extraction game. Didn't he? No NDA? Well, it's his company. He can say whatever he wants as a main developer. The other people that worked together with him, they had an NDA. But since the NDA expired, one of the people who was working actually published the whole story. So it's still not Hellhammer who said like, yeah guys, that's a fucked up situation. Like my team was taken away and I was working on the game myself. It's still not him. It's someone who was working with him, but the NDA expired and they like shared the story how it actually was. I need a little deeper research about their relationship with Tencent. If you want. You can text Obi-Wan, he was looking up some stuff there as well. Daedric Protection. This passive now reduces your damage taken by 25% while Daedric Summoning ability is active, instead of increasing your health and stamina recovery while Daedric ability is slotted. The recovery bonus has been merged into the Storm Calling skill line instead. This passive now grants max health, magic, stamina by 25% if you have a permanent pet active, instead of increasing your max health by 10%. That's good. Max magic if you don't have. So like now it's only if you have a pet and it's 5%. Bound armaments. This ability now stacks up to 8 times, up from 4, so that it's less punishing, and has flexible fit on the crystal weapon rotation. Activating the ability will still only shoot up to 4. Reduce damage per dagger by 10%. Thank you so much. So it's also the same way as the bow from Nightblade. Yeah, but nobody's gonna be using the skill tree in the first place, even like Stamina Sorks. Like nobody's gonna use it. So bound armaments is gonna be done. I'm pretty sure Stamina Sorks are gonna be running the bow from Nightblade skill tree. I'm super sure about it. They're just gonna run with that one. It's gonna be streak, bow, you're dead. Done. That's how it looks. Good that you lose. It's good actually that you're losing stacks outside of combat now. That would be insane. Dark magic. Crystal shard. Crystal fragments. This ability passive slot function now persists through bar swap, allowing casts from both bars to potentially trigger the insta-cast version. Thank you for the hydrate. We've lagged a bit behind on updating this morph to persist through the bar for making Sorcerer much more powerful in PvE. Not really hurting. With subclassing here, however, the idea of classic classes being too overpowered is less of a concern for the next world of truly specialized builds. This morph can be given a little bit extra love to help the skill line have more value dealers, as lacks other potent damage producing abilities. Persistence. This passive now reduces the cost of your next health, magic, or stamina ability after blocking. What the fuck needs that? Is it already in game right now? Do we have something like that? Up from... Oh, so there is actually something like this. Cost of your next health, magic, or ability after blocking. I didn't know this thing was even there. I never read the passives for the sorcerer. I think subclasses will restore the game of PvP and PvE. The game will become alive. Hopefully, Robai. I'm hoping for that. Storm Calling. Lightning Form. Hurricane. The final damage tick of this morph no longer loses the ramping damage bonus. What is a ramping damage bonus? Can somebody explain? I have no idea what that is. Mage's Fury. This ability in its morph now lasts for 2 seconds, down from 4. Turning down the grace period of the infamous auto-execute ability, both in anticipation for subclassing and turn down the sorcerer ability to easily secure kills, especially when themselves aren't the ones always earning it. Since the class has been given plenty of their effective increases to the kit over the years, we're so much more confident in this relation of the ability to ensure it still feels significantly different and unique to other executes, while being a bit less effective at being a guaranteed death sentence. Yeah, I think, well, looking at sorcerer skill tree passives, I think the pet skill tree is being taken away. Like, it's super easy to predict that this is going away. And it's being replaced by the morph of the bow, rather magic or stamina one. And everybody is just gonna be running with that one, instead of Daedric summoning abilities. Like, the shield is gonna be replaced for something else, I don't know, or some other heal or anything. But Daedric summoning definitely drops out. Not sure about dark magic, but Daedric summoning, you can forget about the skill tree. It's not existing in PvP anymore for sorcerer. Maybe PvE for 8 pets build just for fun, but that's it. Hurricane, manifest yourself. The winds growing damage and size increasing. The final tick. So, like, the final tick was missing the damage increase or what? I don't get it. Ah, but it wasn't the case. Okay, I get it now. Capacitor. This passive now increases health, magic, stamina recovery by a number instead of 10%. I think this is good. Yeah, this is probably like 10%. Yeah, like the stable number is always better. That's for sure. This passive now increases your weapon and spell damage by 108 per ability slotted instead of 2 per sorcerer ability. I'm not sure what is better here. I guess the flat number is better, right? Like 1%. I have now on my Nightblade, on sorcerer it's about the same. 4.5, so 1% is what? 45 weapon damage. Yeah, somewhere there. So 5% would be what? Per ability slotted, by the way. Yeah, it's like, it's a buff, I'd say. It's a buff, I'd say. Even with 2%, it seems like a buff. Unless you're running more, unless you're running like 7k weapon damage, it's a buff. I would say somewhere there. Well, at least that's the way it seems like for me. Like if I try to imagine numbers in my head. Oh yeah, there's an announcement. Guys who haven't seen the video on YouTube yet, the bot just published it in chat. Make sure to go there, drop a like and leave a comment, something like, yeah, next time definitely Radiant Apex or something like this. Thank you. Warden. Animal Companions. Bond with nature. Increases the healing done from this passive to up from... Okay, buff. Flourish. Increase the magic and stamina recovery granted from this passive to 10-20% up from 12. Okay. Advanced species. Increases the critical damage granted by this passive per animal companion ability slotted by 1%. Okay, that's fine. Nature's Gift. Increases the magic stamina restored from this passive to 277 up from 250. Doesn't really make any difference. Healing done by the green balance to 5 instead of... Wow, that's 250% increase compared to what was before. That's a huge buff for the passive. Lotus Flower. Decrease the healing done by the fully charged heavy attacks from this ability and is morphed to be 2.3 times stronger than the light attack value rather than 3 times. Reducing 23% healing reduction. Anybody was using it in the first place? Okay, Glacial Storm and Northern Storm. Reduce the damage per tick of this ultimate by 33%. Now grants 2% damage done per stack, rather than 50 weapon damage and spell damage. Increase the duration of the stacks to 12, from 5, resulting in total duration of 20 up from 13. We're lowering the damage per tick of this ultimate to reduce how powerful it's in PvP finally, while simultaneously building more potential power into its residual effects so it remains dangerous and impactful with less burst damage potential from the ability itself. And I just understood, by the way, why Sorcerer is gonna be insane with the assassination from Nightblade skill tree. Because if you remember, there is this ability, but what interests us is the other morph of it. Concealed Weapon. First of all, it's a melee spammable, which applies off balance. It's a melee spammable, which applies off balance, which allows you to do the heavy attack, like half-charged heavy attack to knock back the enemy. Yeah. And it provides minor expedition, which sorcerers miss a lot. There's no source of minor expedition aside from Hurricane, I think. But if you drop Hurricane, damn, it can really be something interesting. Yeah, I wanna play that. I actually wanna play that, like Sorcerer Nightblade sort of mix-up. That would be interesting to play. That would be really interesting to play. Can't wait. Well, I just gotta wait till June. Like 1.5 months. But I already have some interesting ideas. For how it can work. Frozen Gate. Updating this ability is more to be more performant on the server, while also making sure they pull relatable targets more responsibly. The morph strategy should no longer remove itself if multiple areas were stacked in the same spot. Glacial Presence. This passive now increases your character chance applying shield status effect by 250% up from 200. Adjusted the scaling. 10% of your weapon spell damage by... Adjusted the scaling of the damage done bonus to 10% of the higher of your weapon on spell damage rather than 10% of your weapon spell damage and 1% of your... Aha, okay. So that's a nerf. Sorcerer Decay. Why Decay, Urbar? Streaking? Why streaking? Yeah, like, think of something as Sorcerer Decay Nightblade. So like Corrosive, you get 10 stacks, you pop Corrosive, you streak and shoot the bow. The target is dead. You streak and shoot the bow, the target's dead. Because you can't block the streak. Like, it always stuns you. I see. Aura. Frozen Armor. Increased armor granted from this passive per Winter Embrace ability slotted up to... Okay, that's a small buff. Passive now causes attackers in melee range to receive a stack of Winter's Bite for 3 seconds up to 5 stacks. Attackers at 5 stacks are affected with Major Maim. This passive no longer reduces the effectiveness of snares on you. Wait, so you don't want to fight Warden and melee anymore? Or what? Piercing Cold. This passive now increases your frost damage by 5-10% and the amount of damage you can block by 4-8 permanently. This changes from the previous effect where you, whenever you deal frost damage, you gain Piercing Cold for 6 seconds, which increases the amount of damage you can block by 12% if your max health is above 30,000. What? What? The fuck is that complicated formula there? Yeah, that's much better than it was before. We're simplifying this passive to be less of the E4 case now that subclassing is there, making this less disruptive to use but more specialized for the frosty ones out there. Oh, Necromancer. Yeah, you were telling me that this is gonna be insane, right? You were telling me this is gonna be insane. Let's see what the Necromancers have there. Interesting. The case has a poisonous breath that reduces 5k resistance and damages. And didn't tell me much. How do we plan to use it? I remember that it was pretty good. Like, yeah, I think I was on Bislavo's stream yesterday and he was mentioning that, like, a lot of people are gonna use the poisonous breath, probably. But I'm not sure, like, I don't know whether that's gonna be the case or not. Can't really say. Not so sure about it. Okay, Gravelord. Flame Skull. This ability on S'mores will now generate a corpse on their third cast near where the target enemy was. When I'm Skull, the corpse generation for this effect has a 3-second cooldown to mitigate how easy it is to reach the summon corpse limit. Sacrificial Bones. Gravelord Sacrifice. This morph no longer causes your Flame Skull to generate corpses. The base game ability now does that. Death Kneel. This passive now increases your critical chance by 10-50% against targets under 33% health. If you have a Gravelord ability slotted, rather than granting 10 critical strike chance per Gravelord ability slotted under 25. Good. I'd say this is good. That's the stable. Well, you're not gonna have like 5 abilities, let's be honest. And having one and getting 20% under 33% target health, this is an execute. Like, people are just gonna have this passive 3-4 executes and spam with everything else. Reusable parts. This passive now reduces the cost of your next necromantic summon up from 50%. Okay. Dismember. The passive now grants 3000 penetration when a Gravelord ability is active. Up from... What are the Gravelord abilities? This boy over here. This boy over here that grants you weapon damage and spell damage, magic, major sorcery brutality. This little boy over here. Yep. So you have this one active. You get 3,000 effective penetration more. That's insane. That's literally insane. And again, when a Gravelord ability is active. Amazing skill tree. Well, This one is good. Yeah, it's insanely good. Bone Tyrant's bone armor and disability and its Morse will no longer create a consumable corpse if you were not in combat when the ability ended. This also applies if the ability were recast with at least half of their duration passing. If you're not in combat when meeting its requirements, they will not generate. Not that actual summoned creatures such as skeletal mage that die while not in combat will continue to generate a visual corpse that cannot be consumed. Rape Grasp. Empowering this more now improves the minor maim and major maim against enemies rather than increasing your summoned creature damage by 1000. Oh. This morph has always struggled to find an impactful place for the buff effect, mainly due to how your necromantic summons tend to stick to your far size, making the aiming minigame feel more frustrating than satisfying. Additionally, with subclassing here, the effect would have needed extreme simplification and reduction to prevent it from creating problematic combinations, especially since the skill line does not have any paths to summon, whereas simply moving forward with a morph that further improves the core functionality for tanks since it's the focus of the skill line as a whole. Major meme? Yeah. Health avarice. Passive now increases your healing taken by 3% per ability. The passive now increases your max health twice. Nice. Living Death. Creative Curse. Passive now increases healing done while a negative effect is active on you. The passive now increases your critical chance while healing based on your target's missing health by up to 12, down from 20. Nerf. Addend can defade. This passive now increases your health, magic, stamina recovery while a necromantic bat is active. Well, let's be honest. Nobody's gonna be using this. Nobody's gonna be probably using this. People only care about this one. And this one is insane so far. This one is insane so far. Arcanist, Herald of Tome. Fate Carver. Increase the cost of this ability and its morphs by 40%. 40%. Holy. Well, if you eat sustained food, you wouldn't care. Like, I had issues with burning stamina. I guess I won't have them anymore. Increases the cost of this ability and its morphs by 40%. Increase the damage of this ability and its morph by 8%. So, buff, basically. These abilities can now hit a maximum of 6 targets rather than having no target cap. Yeah. That's a small nerf. But, like, for 6 targets, it's still insane. Splintered Secrets. This passive now increases your offensive penetration per Herald of Tome. Ability slotted by 1240 up from 991. So, let's say I'm gonna have Arcanist Ultimate. I'm gonna have... And for Lee, welcome back. So I'm gonna have Arcanist Ultimate, I'm gonna have Tome, and I'm gonna have Necromancer Skeleton active. Where was it? So it's 3.2, 3.327 even, 327 plus another 2.4, almost 2.5. So you're slotting 3 abilities on your bar. Your Necro Arcanist. You have a free 5k penetration. Just like out of nowhere. Or even 6, wait a second. Yeah, my bad, it's 6. You have 6k pen just out of nowhere. That's insane. Now the standbar will stand still instead of crawling up while casting the V. Yeah, exactly, Vormem, exactly. Exactly. Curative rune forms. Splintered Secrets passive. Now, yeah, I read that. The passive now increases weapon spell damage by 284 when you're restored magic. Wait, what? This passive now increases your weapon and spell damage when you're restoring magic or... Is the regular stamina tick whenever you have, like, let's say I'm having half of my stamina and I'm having that passive regeneration, does it proc this thingy? Will it trigger from that? Because if it does, it's a buff. Curative rune forms. Arcane is the main ability and its more minor buff effects now properly adhere to standard 6 target cap. Reconstructive domain, the healing from this one will now sort and apply the heal to the lowest health targets in the area rather than having no sort and simply applying to the first 6. Healing times the passive now increases the healing done per crux. Helios Clarity, the passive now restores both magic and stamina instead of just the highest. Soldier of Apocrypha, Ages of Dancing, the passive now increases your armor for 3k while you have Soldier of Apocrypha ability active, up from 2, well, that's a buff. Wellspring of the Abyss, this passive now increases your health, magic and stamina recovery by 81 for each Soldier of Apocrypha ability, down from... Oh, that one is a nerf. Well, nobody's gonna be using this one anyway. Everybody needs this one so far. Like the first skill tree. And from what I've seen, you slot this together with Grave Lord and some other skill tree, like even execute from skill tree from the tell me, from Templar will do. But I'm actually looking now at the bow from Nightblade, and you know what I'm thinking? You're getting the Nightblade in PvE. You're not losing stacks whenever you're quitting combat. So you get the Merciless Resolve, you slot it on the bar, you're getting the passives from the Nightblade from Assassination skill tree. You combine it together with Gravelord here and Herald of Tome. You go for Magicomorph for more stacks. You get 600 additional weapon damage, and you never use the bow. You just have it there to be there. So you have 2 abilities. You're using the Execute from the Nightblade and the bow. Then from Arcanist, you take the Ultimate and you take the Ultimate and the Fate Carver. From Necromancer, you take the Skeletal Archer, for example. And there's one more ability, you slot Banner, I guess. You go for the Banner. Easy. Easy. Should be insane. Probably it's even better than with the Templar, I'm not sure. Yeah, the only problem, like, execute a single target, but like for single target boss, I think that's gonna be the best option that is there, to be fair. And from the back, you're gonna have additional crit rate. Yeah. It's gonna be insane, I can see that already. Okay, weapons. Shrouded daggers. The bounce daggers from this ability now come from the target they bounce off. Restoration, stabilizing of protection abilities and more no longer cause unnecessary server strain. Soul Magic, Soul Strike, somebody's using it. Magical detonation, visual effects from this video more are now in sync. Okay, scribing. Whenever a scribe ability receives a major changes in behavioral balance, this ability will be reset to its base form and will require reselection of the scripts you would like to combine. During the process, Luminous Ink will be granted to each character who previously had selected changed scribed ability. Due to how scribed abilities are made under the hood, when they receive large tasks, we need to go through the process called versioning, which effectively states which version of the ability is being addressed. When your character logs and has scribed ability already made, this version of the ability will be matched to server's version. Okay, whatever. Contingency. Increase the cost of all damaging versions of the ability to... Okay, now it costs even more. Damage shield and healing versions. Ooh. Ooh, that's painful. Ouch. That's a lot. That's a lot of mana. That's a lot of mana there. As they were missing 50% cost increase that healing shielding abilities are meant to have. Ooh. Fixed an issue when the healing and damage shield versions of this ability were not properly treated. As damage shield and healing abilities for the many passive interactions, such as intricate rune forms. For this fixed the property, which will no longer be reapplied to be cast again. This will also require to re-save over armory loadouts. Has found its way into many loadouts, offering powerful abilities that can happen simultaneously with other class abilities, making it fantastic for adding burst damage or tuning the tide of the combat with the big shield or heal. When we originally made this ability, we were worried about how it would fit into many builds, as the notion of chambering abilities is more complex and skill reliant than other straightforward activations. So we set things like cost to be much easier to utilize in hopes of making the ability more accessible. We created a case where the two defensive options of the Screamer became incredibly dense. We're moving this closer to the cost of the straightforward abilities. Still has some unique advantages for the unique use of requirements. In addition to this, since this relatively simple adjustment needs a case refactor, how the ability was built under the hood, we're resetting selections. Okay, whatever. That's not interesting. I wonder how you're keeping track with other you're crafting right now. Well, I've read it once, I will remember what is there. That's enough for me. For some reason, stuff like this I always remember. Whenever there's something that I actually need to remember by heart, I never can remember that. Like, somebody said it, I read it, that's it, it's out. Goodbye. But stuff like this I always remember for some reason. That's the way it works for me for some, like, always. Oh wait, wrong window, wrong window. Itemization and item sets. Many issues related to consumables have been addressed. Food and drink, ravage health potions, minor protection, vulnerability, resource bars no longer reset, tooltip, poisons, item sets, arena sets, footman, damage your block, highland sentinel, losing stacks if you're losing stack from this and no longer forces you to dismount. Additionally, stacks removal now works as intended. Azure Blight, this set now requires 20 additional stacks of Blight seed for each group member wearing this set. They nerfed it so fast. Outside of Azure's recent adjustment to scaling damage effectiveness in certain areas, we're making a pass to reduce the potency of the set when it's worn by multiple wearers, and the group with enough people, the set still produces enough damage in a single target situation to outclass most other sets in the game. Rather than creating a universal nerf for the set, we're trying a highly specific correction on reducing the power in the situation we're seeing the problem. Yeah, basically they're saying You people, stop using this set. It deals so much damage. You're crazy. Stop. Like, yeah, that's insane. Like, I checked the stats for the current SLOX. Like, everybody's using this. Like, literally everyone. Noxious Boulder. Glorgoth, Infernal Guardian. Zoal. Rourke and Steam Guards. Seraban's Ward. Mad Tinker. Sentry. Trial set. Silver Slivers of Nolark increase the damage done. Again? By 8%, reduce the cooldown after it activates to 4. So they're buffing Nolarka again, or what? It looks like they're buffing Nolarka back again. I guess we're gonna get it. Guides win this set now triggers off over healing yourself or a group member rather than when you apply a major buff. Then Lorraine will comment more consistently. What's with the Mad Tinker? This sets Venomous Fabric and no longer a summoned entity with an AI and instead is a visual effect that completes the attack immediately. This change was done to reduce the likelihood of the creature getting stuck in a repetitive loop or attempting to roll towards the target it could not reach, which wasted its proc. This also means it will no longer count as a summon for interactions with other effects. That's what with Mad Tinkerer. A balance sourced from companions will no longer apply to targets already affected. The Ritual Corpse target and effects cannot damage neutral enemies. Companions will no longer always be visible while at an outfit station. Zenitar Zabi. Zankel Corrupted Limited Corruption ability no longer damage you outside of the telegraphed location. Duplicate save box. So those are like minor fixes by a basic game. Harborage reworks. Mitigate some of the server impact created solo instance Harborage from the same game main quest. We have already tooled all Harborage spaces to no longer be solo instances. Each layer of the new world is still your own and you will not see any other players. Scenes with Prophet and other intended NPC have been rebuilt using a more modern theater technology. If you already completed, you won't need to do it again. Larger functionality and streamlining upgrade for the tech behind the scenes. Other world spaces you visit beyond the Harborage, under Castle of the Worm, are still solo instances. Some general scripting was improved, following Sigil Stone encounters, timing, ongoing difficulty, and ability or balancing for various encounters. There's a generally increase in difficulty for the listed encounters with the intent of keeping up with the general increase of baseline player power over the lifetime of the ESO. Manimark, Titan, Ryzen, Moloch Ball, Will of Fire. Thought it got buffed or something. Matinker summons a robot dinosaur that does bowling on an enemy. So I'm using it. And because of stats or anything. Well, it's gonna be like a direct attack now, so it's not gonna be like trying to target the enemy or anything. I'm not sure how it's gonna look like, but seems it's gonna optimize the set in terms of like if you were missing the proc sometimes because there was no way to reach the target or something, now it's gonna still work nonetheless. Controller customization, Alliance War. Jumping between zones can no longer increase the amount of Telvar stones in the sack. Did it happen before? Telvar stones from daily login rewards and golden purses can now be claimed in an active battleground. Siege merchants will now sell bound tree restoration potions for 1k AP each. Wow. Damn, look at that. That's cool. Or a bar. How do you like that? This is actually pretty good. I would say this is super good. Because just in case, those potions work in PvE as well. So like you don't need to create 3-stat potions anymore yourself. You just buy one for the alliance points and use it. Simple and easy. That's really good. Vengeance Campaign. Added weapon assault and support skill lines. Oh, these maintain the same screen. The minimize server performance impact similar to class abilities. Some functionality has been changed on abilities to maintain this level of attention. Server performance and adding to pop up when you enter Vengeance, explaining the rule set. So weapon assault and support skill lines. Interesting, interesting. As part of our ongoing efforts to modernize SO and performance, we revamped player combat to use an adaptive animation system. Basically, this removes a lot of redundant animation info, creating smaller file sizes that use less memory. Thank you. Create future content that loads quicker and allows more animations to be played at once, even on computers with modest specs. For this task, the animation visuals are virtually indistinguishable from the existing game. The exceptions are light and heavy melee weapon attacks, which receive minor updates. First thing worth mentioning, there were no gameplay changes to light attack, weaving, or animation. It still works exactly as it was before. However, light attacks animation now strike the target much quicker. This doesn't prevent you from weaving the next attack, but it try to get to the point of impact quicker to better match what is happening on the server and give you more accurate visual feedback. Oh. Second part of the faster light attack mentioned above, striking the target with a melee weapon should remain unchanged. However, missing a target with your melee weapon no longer makes you lose your footing and focus on the enemy. This is just a visual change. Polymorph skeleton. Crafting and economy crowns for constraints. When writing certain matter, there was a bug caused constant clicking sound. For real? Was there something like that? Display Old Orsinium. Jester Festival. When opening daily coffer, a word from the archive and receiving an item set container. The contents of this container are now curated. You will now receive a class item set piece that you currently do not have following the start. Wow. Wow. So, like, whenever this comes out, I have to go to archive finally and get the sets, I guess. Because it's gonna be a curated drop then. It's gonna be a curated drop then. That's really good. Loving it. That's good. I like that. I like that. That's really nice. That's actually really, really nice. Housing. Fixes. Collision culling system. Do I use it? No, I don't.
Selling, buying, trading.
Monsters and NPCs. Sending a chat message in the group while not grouped now displays an error. Quest pins. Yeah, there's not much stuff here that I would pay attention to. Well, that was the patch note, guys. That was the patch note. I'd say it's better than I expected. I'd say it's better than I expected it to be. I'm actually interested